Well, greetings. All right, that was UFO Index as a social network. I'm still working on advertising on Facebook. I haven't got around to it. I'm fixing my own site. I had to work today. Fixing my own website because of the membership situation. I'm trying to make that a little bit better, and easier. Easier to navigate and get in and stuff like that. I think it's somewhat better. Well, maybe not right now, but anyway. Okay. Yeah, I had a long. Anyway, I might have. Yeah, announcement later. It's gonna be a while, but I have some sort of project I'm working on, but I'm not gonna make that known anytime soon. So that's why I'm tired, and it's gonna be a while for that to be known. So it's something's cooking in the oven. Let's put it that way. Should be. It's spiritual related. I'll leave that at that. One there was something else I had a topics here I was going to go into a little bit, but I can't remember any of them. I'm too tired to channel. Well, I can connect. Well, okay, all right. I'll just connect to whatever comes through. For the first thing, well, one thing I do remember is this was brought to me through the Arcturian. And it's funny, I made that video yesterday and somebody thumbed it down. It's like, whatever. I mean, that's fine. But it's like controlled opposition. The idea of connecting to yourself, becoming more positive, not being controlled by the negativity on this world. The idea is to remove a lot of, I mean, we live in a world that's not pleasant to be in, because of all the negativity, child abduction, stuff like that. Rape and everything. It's just like, what is this place? And the idea is to connect with yourself and bring more positivity to yourself, and yet work all the crazy ones. There's no cost to it. I mean, it might cost to get some kind of guidance a little bit, but most of it has to rely on yourself, reawakening yourself. And most of humanity is not ready for that, but you never know. Eventually people are going to start going to psychics and channelers eventually and just heal on their own, but that's going to be a while. But as the world goes into more of an awakening state, more psychic channeling, vibration, healing, also it seems like will be utilized, but that's just to put you in the right direction. It's just not to say you'll connect with it all the time, but just to put you on the right road, basically, so you can know what to do. That's basically what all this is. And what I was going to say, for clear out stress, clear out, bring more positivity without having the negative thoughts, which is not easy to do because a lot of us are going through pain from the past and stuff like that. And, it's just normal. But you can call on your higher self to come through. Meaning you just call on your higher self to just connect with you, throughout your being, just to ask or just think it, just your higher self is you, depending on how we want to look at it. It will help you focus more clearly on what you want, help you manifest also. But the idea is to clear your space where you don't have a negative. I mean, you're going to have some negative. I mean, you're going to have some, of course, but you're not ruled by it. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to walk around the world just, with a flower in your hair. I heard a long time ago. But the idea is to, have a more peace of mind. But, some men and some women be, hey, how's it going? And they'll say something like super dark. So anyway, the idea is to connect with your higher self to bring in more of a positive vibration that will help you also, not just that, but see more of who's around you in the physical, see what they're going through, and you can send healing to them. As it seems it'll help you become more, what's the word? Sensitive. the more sensitive you become, of course, different versions of sensitive, but sensitive's like spiritually sensitive. So that way you can help you connect more with spirit also. It's this, from what I've been feeling, is more that you are for others, energy wise, the more you can, the more you get back positive karma also. So, it's like, for example, if you're, or for those that are kind of gossipy, that doesn't do your vibration good. Yeah, sometimes you're going to have to vent about certain individuals. That's one thing. Gossip is another story. That's a negative vibration. Sometimes you need to speak about someone, whatever it might, positive or negative, but that's just part of healing what you are. Some things need to be discussed just the way it is. But there's other types that are gossip vibrations and just, anyway. So that'll help. I believe this will help with me. Sometimes when I'm driving, you just get kind of aggravated. It seems like you go pick into the things that bother you the most. You're not always where you want to be in life, and you're not always, living what you want to be living. So, want more. You want to connect to your aliens. You want to live in a more positive world. So you get aggravated and stuff like that. On and on and on. Or you just live in Florida. So anyway, nothing against Florida, but anyway, I guess it depends on what part you live in. So anyway, so connect to your higher self. Just how you do it, it's different for everybody, but it does help. It does help also. There are messages here. One moment. Well, what they got, if you get a feeling of fast around you, like if you feel speed around you, I know that sounds very bizarre. Well, not really. You're connected to other dimensions. It's because the other dimensions are a lot quicker than ours. Ours is, it's kind of fast, but not really. Not compared to what other species deal with. I'm not sure exactly how theirs work, but either way, it's faster than ours. When you feel like you're connecting to more of that, I'm feeling that right now, actually. You're just connecting to the different dimensions. It seems like part of that has to do with opening yourself up also. So if you don't feel it, you might not be ready for it, but there's different methods for everyone to what is for your highest good, basically. You connect to your guides, angels. What is it that will help you evolve? That's probably the best way to look at it, instead of just saying, just like what I was speaking about, another dimension of being, quick. Because I feel that I'm feeling it now for some reason, and it's just it's becoming more sensitive when you feel those type of things. As for the other dimensions, it's another part of healing. Some of it also has to do with changing timelines also. I believe it's like, one second, I gotta take care of something. Long night. That wasn't whiskey, I was water. Anyway. Yeah, it hasn't, like for changing timelines, sometimes you might be able to feel what's brewing around, because it's like a porridge in some ways of your timeline shifting. Like certain elements have to happen. You're not seeing it, but the other dimensions are seeing it. I was another thing a spirit guide said to the tarot card reader years ago. That was back in 2011. She said we can't handle anything. First off, no. The hard, like the other side, we can never handle what they're, because they're, they can do like what 30, 100 things at once. Everything's going super quickly, and we can't handle anything. We can't even handle going to the movies half the time, driving for that matter. So so what's going on in dimensions? You might start feeling different change of vibrations around you. That means you're shifting to another dimension, another timeline, which has to do with another dimension also, because sometimes different dimensions seem to have to open to give you extra knowledge to shift you into another reality, such as winning the lottery or new job, or it depends on how sensitive you are to feel these type of things. So that's what I'm told to say here. It all has to do with the awakening process also. The more you feel the ascension, the more you feel more, you're piecing together in, the fabrics of time, basically. And I imagine that makes sense to some, It's like we're physically here, but spiritually it's like the keys of unlocking yourself. You're connecting more to the vibrations of the earth, and it helps you manifest faster, which is pretty important to some, or everyone for that matter. And but realize some things are not manifest. I'm being told this because certain lessons need to be learned, and you're not ready for what you're manifesting. But doesn't mean to let it go, though. It just means that to manifest what you want, you have to go through certain lessons to get there. Now, it's not just always an easy road. Sometimes it is, depending on who you are, what you came here for. So everyone's different. So if you're here to open up a Walmart chain or something like that, it's going to be different. There was a story today about a friend of mine at work said about there was this guy in a nursing home. He became a millionaire at 30 or something like that, ran a construction company, and at 50 he had a stroke or something like that. Now he's in a nursing home, can't do anything. So that has a lot to do with how you look at things, of course, and just how you're living your life. So you have that stroke. I'm not sure how the strokes are different. Might be eating habits, life habits that's causing that, or who knows. I don't know the whole story on that. I don't know. But either way, it does seem like whatever it is, sometimes spirituality isn't always the answer, because sometimes you're just in a situation. It's just like, it's hard to, it's hard to focus. And that's understandable. Especially if you have a cold, or your living environment's not very good, because connecting to connect higher, to move up is to be stress free, or how to manage that stress. That's not always you can't always do that. So, and that's part of your test. And I've been in this situation where you just can't, you feel like you're going into 2D instead of 4D. So, but it has to do with lessons you need to learn. So, but also it's also what do you want to, what is it that you want to experience also? What do you want in your environment? You can also control that. I'll do the best you can with that. Do I want this? Do I want to experience this? If you don't want to experience it, you can always shift it. So, bad relationships, stuff like that. So you can also shift your reality in that regard also. It all depends. That one's kind of, I guess, like I have a job and I'm ready to get out of there. As I keep saying that. I'm always, in the past, I did a lot of writing. I did a lot of computer type of website stuff, as you can tell. Yeah, my great web design is just out of this world. But web design's never been so good. But the mechanics of it, I knew what I was doing, for the most part. So, before I started doing this, I was doing that. So, social network and tools. Basically, these are just tools, and the internet's here for us to connect and to be enlightened. So, but like for my job, like I was just waiting. I was waiting for things to change. It's like, okay, I'm going to be out of here by the end of this year. I'm done, and I'm still there. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years later, 10 years later. So, figure like the writing stuff would work out, and never really panned out because part of me doesn't really want it. Some art it does, some art it doesn't. Channeling is good, but there's other ambitions, not just that, but it's part of this. It's part of the ascension. As for like create tools to help the ascension, social networks, part of it, and other things I'm tooling around with right now. So all has to do with this type of environment. Feels good, and it's just might not be the blockbuster of our time, but everything takes time anyway. So besides that, my time is limited. There's only so much I can do. So, but that also is it's on how you look at it. Also, you can manifest time. That too. Paths are manifesting money. All right, one. Well, basically, manifest what is for your highest good. What is it that brings, closer to spirit, closer to your aliens, closer to your angels? You can put that manifestation out there. It's like, what is it that can help me grow more, to become more angelic, basically? And sometimes you're not always going to go through, you want to always accept all of that because it's, you're still like angry at an old relationship or stuff like that. Been there. So you're not ready to let go of that. So that kind of, it stops you because you're not ready to let go. And so letting go, you have to like go into like, why am I not letting go? I thought I let go, but I'm still holding on. So why is that? Why is that happening? And in my case, firing a guide was helpful. That was really helpful, actually. And that's not always recommended, of course, but I don't feel him around anymore. That was Ulysses. Ulysses has been around forever. But when I've mentioned this before, when Apollo came through as a new guide, my main guide, Ulysses was very irritated, and he moved from here to there. I felt I was in the grocery store. I could not believe, and I felt Apollo came there. He even said his name. It's like, this is fucking cool. It's like, I felt Ulysses' aggravation. So he's been over there ever since. And now he's gone. Yeah, I just also felt like with guides that you're fired, depending on the guide, you will reconcile what I got of the other side. And also it has to do with relationships also here. I think many are already aware of that. Physical relationships that don't work out, sometimes miscommunication, things of that sort. Possibly you will, if you want to, fix that in another life. That's pretty obvious. Well, sometimes. But as for alien awareness here, as for spiritual awareness, what I'm seeing, as you can tell, the cabal vibration is here very strong. It is part of our culture to be in negativity. So many are not willing to let that go. Like calling all of us crazies and we're out for money, we're all just a bunch of lunatics, connecting like this. But what the guides say, well, they say get used to, but not in a negative way. But it's just a way of the mentality here of people. And they also said be careful of who you tell this stuff to, but go by what you feel right. Of course, you want to express yourself, go right ahead. But sometimes family members are not ready for it, and it's not always in their best interest to tell them. Meaning you already a kind of a weak. It depends. It all depends on what you feel. You just gotta, small doses if you wish. My family, I gotta be in a different situation. My family can't handle this stuff right now. Yeah, they call me just crazy and stuff like that. They just, for them, financial rewards is what makes them happy. It's freaking ridiculous. Even that, I'm not sure if that would work either with them. It's just anyway. But you just got to go by what everyone's situation is different. So it seems like most cases, but not all, where families are just not ready for this stuff. It's just they'll be bouncing off the walls, calling it crazy. But sometimes you need to stand your ground. Just do it. Screw it. Just do it. My family's not ready to hear it. I don't either. I'm not ready to deal with it either. But it's getting there. Yeah, that day will come eventually. I'm not ready for it. I have other things to do. But everyone's different. And what do you want to experience? So, what do you want to feel? But it does seem, as you can tell about. Oh, yeah, that was another thing. I did mention yesterday about connected to people in the community, not in the webinars, but in the past, I've known in the spiritual communities that are healers, supposedly. I do see them astral and not very friendly. I'm also connected to them and others that are here to cause cancer. Now, understand, when they're in this incarnation, not where they're doing it. It depends. Or they've done it in the past or something, where as a human being, you're shooting out all this negativity. Now, look at our lovely society. It's super negative. Yeah, it's the ghetto, basically. Never really looked at it that way, but it is. And yeah, you see, we're all just causing each other's cancers, depending on what kind of negative vibration you're putting out. The more negative you are to others, they can, cause cancer, because your words can be very hurtful, and it can cause someone to be very ill, and it can make you sick and cause cancers. I don't see why not. It's not just the chemtrails. It's the nature also. Seeing nature being hurt can cause, injuries to nature, Mother Earth. I don't know if it can. I don't see why it can't. Depends on how much grief you have from. I don't know. That might be a little bit different, but I think it all depends on how much it affects you. It's like, I'm ready to leave this world. I can't look at this anymore. Stuff like that. Something along those lines. But yeah, people can definitely cause cancer. As our culture is, we are a culture of negativity. But we are. It's been what I call a science experiment. And it's like we're in a petri. Yeah, I see this in a petri dish, and just seeing how we react. Basically, it's basically. I mean, that's all creation. So, and every reality is all unique, every one of them. So it's just seeing how we react, and we are actors in a play. And it's all in how we react to these certain situations. But reconnecting, being aware that you're an actor and stepping out of that character into more of your angelic self does show a lot, especially when those are around you are all just calling you crazy and calling you every, what. So we have love and acceptance for everyone and their belief systems, of course. Not to say, one belief system is, whatever it is. Less judgmental, the better. Also helps you connect more to your spiritual self. But easier said than done. A lot of your belief systems are not ready for you to fully step out of this play we're living in right now. Some are, and but it's coming back into the act. Being human that's where it's very difficult. Being human is not easy. It's easier to be a fourth-dimensional being sometimes. I don't know if I mentioned this. This just came up. I was going to mention this to somebody else, but I might as well mention it here. I have neighbors here, and it's interesting. They have money, well, sort of. I don't know. They bought a small house, and they have like 2 cars, And I don't know, it was like they should have bought more property so they can park all their stuff and boats and castles or whatever they're doing over there. I don't know. They're just, I don't know. I don't know. They're just, it's weird. Yeah, they have a boat in the backyard. It's just like they got this like, they have, it's an old man, he just got married. It's not that old, it's like 60s or something like that. And he has all this materialistic stuff. And he bought like a little place to live. I mean, it's a halfway decent house, but still, all the plumbing. They probably had to redo all the plumbing and everything. But anyway, it's not. It's a pretty old house, like 50s or 40s. It was built, something like that. Anyway, the neighbor. I felt this a while ago. I don't know if I mentioned this ever. I feel at least him. I'm not sure about his wife, but him definitely. I see him as a weird, as a feline, running away from something. It's like tired of the aliens, can't take it anymore. Rather be a human, or I can be materialistic, watch TV, and not deal with aliens flying around ships and all that. Imagine there's many here that are like that. I've mentioned this before. I'm not sure if I mentioned about the neighbor though. That does exist here. They're just not into the alien stuff at all. Just it's like I'm done with it. It's like I'd rather be a human that has to pay taxes and deal with the universe and whatever, and canines talking and whatever. I'd rather just sit at home and my TV guide and stuff like that. So I don't know. I haven't like tapped in. I'm not going to do that. But what I feel is a feline that's just been through too much. You can't handle it anymore. So I'd rather be a human than be an alien. I'm not sure he's going to reincarnate. I don't think so. I think it's a reincarnation process. It's been a while. It's like even an astral, it might be just like I'm going to go to the boring part of astral and the most human part of astral. That way, when I come back in, everything is hunky dory. It's just a normal dream and no aliens, no weirdness, no angels, nothing like that. So anyway, I figured I'd put that just popped in my head, so I guess that needed to be known. So anyway, I imagine many know people like that, family members, stuff like that. Well, this is different. This is like just doesn't want anything to do with it. I mean, really. I mean, some are just like don't even want to talk about. This one's like totally not interested. I mean, just running from something. It's interesting. I'm not getting into that. It's not my business, but I just feel that like from the distance, I just feel it. I felt that quite a while ago. It's quite unusual, but I do feel the feline presence also. I believe it is wearing from what I said, like a commander, and just I can imagine situations that are not very pleasant as an alien. So that's what I'm getting. It's better just be here, be human, pay your taxes, go to your job, and watch your HBO or whatever it is. So anyway. All right. Hopefully some of this is helpful. I'm too tired to channel, but I kept having my challenge in some regard. In some ways, basically the mentality of the world is part of a cabal, as you can tell. And it's a negative one, and it's difficult for me to release from that. It's part of our culture. It's like a cage, you can say, and you can say it's like caged animals to some degree. I won't call it that, but it's caged belief systems. And but like I was at work, I was at a party. Imagine they're all connected to like it was a video game theme party for I didn't want to be there, but listen to that music, I want to just jump out the window. Okay, it wasn't like that, but it just listen to that music for kids. I mean it's pop music. I don't remember any of it, but I just felt ill. But anyway, it'd be interesting to see them connecting to their stuff, their aliens or angels, whatever it is, or Agartha. It'd be kind of instead of like being human, it's like what's your favorite video game, what's your favorite movie, what's your favorite sports team. It's kind of like there's so much more out there you can connect with. So Yeah. So anyway, it'd be kind of interesting to see that stuff. It'd be more fascinating, that's for sure. Especially when you can use your telekinesis, stuff like that. And your telepathy will be increased. When your telepathy is more stronger, you have like, I think you can even have 3 or 4 conversations at once from what I gather. I didn't know that until right now. So anyway, all right, much love, blessings, and see you soon.